Well, welcome everyone. We're here to talk about one of my favorite topics, avoiding bad clients. Nobody ever gets really good at this, but you do develop more skill over time, so be a little patient with yourself and realize we all have to deal with this. Now, we're separating our talk into two parts. Avoiding bad clients is today's topic. Later on, there'll be one, how to drop bad clients or fire them. So be aware, we're going to talk about how to prevent the problems from occurring as best we can. First of all, what is a bad client? It's like the guys taping this. They don't pay their bills, or they want to send you a check for half with a nasty note saying they were only half satisfied. The high maintenance clients, the ones that call every 5 minutes, 3 or 4 times a day. My favorite one is calling me at home and leaving messages because they thought they might get through easier. I tell them my husband's $400 an hour, so that really cuts that off. We have clients that have very high expectations about what you will or won't do for them, or what your staff will or won't do, and I think sometimes those are the problems. And then people that are control freaks, and again, the guy behind the camera here is pretty bad, but these people that want to tell you how to do your job, or that won't follow your advice even though they've hired you because they think they know more. And I don't care what area of law you're in, this can be a problem. And then also there are the complainers, the constant whiners. Every time you send a bill out, they're unhappy. They nitpick over all your expenses, or they're unhappy with your staff. And one thing to remember is that complainers, or any of the above type of difficult clients, can easily lead to ARDC letters to you, because these people may be the ones, more likely than not, these are the ones that will file complaints against us professionally. So how do you avoid these kind of people? There is no magic formula that works, but I can tell you there are some things under the attorney's control that you might want to keep in mind. You can set a stage before you ever have that client walk in the door that will enable you to see if there's going to be a potential for a problem, and perhaps prevent some of the problems that can develop later on. First of all, be very careful discounting your fees, because sometimes, especially in my early career, I was willing to discount fees to get business in. Well, if people are price shopping, are these really the clients I want? And when you discount your fees, you're kind of telling the world, I'm not as good as somebody else, so yeah, I'm going to cut my fees. I do discount fees, but be very judicious about it. Be very aware of the value of your services, and don't shortchange yourself, even if some clients walk away. Also, be wary if you are an hourly biller that you don't hurt yourself with capped fees. And again, this is an acquired skill, and my advice to you after years of experience is, whatever you think your fee range is, $1,000 to $1,500, double the top end. Say, well, it'll be $1,500 to $3,500. Really be kind to yourself. And most people, my clients, don't seem to mind. They just like to know what my high-end outside estimate is. And then also, if you're a flat rate attorney, be very cautious. You need a lot of experience, I think, to properly handle flat rate fees, because you've got to make sure you don't shortchange yourself. Even on my flat rate work, I still keep track of my hours, because I'm constantly adjusting what I should be charging for these types of things. And then also be all very wary of bartering. Everyone who's ever come to fix my furnace or treat my cat wants to know if maybe could I do a will for them instead of paying them. And I get a lot of opportunities there, and maybe it's small towns, maybe it's big towns. But I think you also need to be aware of clients who may come to you to form a new business and offer you a share in the business instead of pay. Or in our area, we had oil and gas development for a number of years, and they were offering us interest in the wells. Whether or not they produced was later to be seen. So just be aware of your fee structure, because many times disagreements with clients or problems with clients develop over issues related to fees or expenses. Number one, how do you handle this? You control client expectations. You carefully define the scope of work you're going to do. You also make them aware of the timing. How long does it take you to get something done? And again, overestimate what it's going to take, so that they are pleased when you come in under the wire instead of having to call and apologize for being delayed. Then you also want to control their expectations with contact from you. How often are you going to contact them, and who is going to contact them? I have very active support staff, and they field probably 70 to 90% of my calls, or even drop-in clients. And I make a point to introduce my staff to my clients early on, and then to make sure my clients know that my staff have a lot of expertise and that they have a lot of authority to act and speak for me. I think as litigation, you also have to be aware that you do have a responsibility to track your contacts and docket a lot of maybe what you consider unnecessary, but for client comfort, you need to do that. Get your clients trained up front on what to expect from you and your staff. And then also be very careful about spelling out your fees and your expenses. Treat them separately, because clients are sometimes surprised to find out that your fee does not include your out-of-pocket expenses. And then also, you can make your clients aware up front that if they don't pay or they're slow to pay, you'll charge interest. Maybe not as much as a credit card company, but you do need to reserve that right so you have a little bit of a hammer. This can all be taken care of with a very nice employment agreement, and this is something under your control before that client ever walks in your door. So spend some time learning about employment agreements, look at different samples, ISBA website or through the blogs, whatever you can get hold of, and craft your own. But one of the things, remember, define the scope of work, make sure that they understand the timing on when they can expect work product, outline the contacts that they can expect from you, fees and expenses, especially if you have different fees for different people doing services, and then also make sure you fully inform them about the interest that you may charge if you don't like them. Really, that's not true, but it's if they are slow or no pay. That's kind of the basics before you ever have your first client. Once that client comes in the door, this day and age, clients frequently are interviewing attorneys to see if they want to hire me or somebody else. And I want you to understand that you should also be interviewing the client, because you can pick up on a lot of clues that may lead you to suspect this could be a problem client later on. Number one, if they're starting to tell you a very convoluted story that you find hard to understand, don't assume it's because they're smarter than you. Although the gentlemen helping today are probably not in that category. Understand that if you don't easily figure out what they want from you, you may not be able to meet their expectations, or they may be trying to get you to do something that you're not entirely comfortable with. I've had a few of those instances come in. One of the most important questions I think you can ask a new client is, have you contacted other attorneys about this matter? And then try and get an idea for how many and why those relationships didn't work out. You may be surprised to learn that these poor people have talked to 5 different attorneys, and every time when they explained to you what the problem was, it was the attorney's fault. And you ought to be getting some red flags going up when they tell you this type of scenario. So be aware, dig a little bit for information. I think you also need to know whether or not your clients or potential clients have a history of a lot of litigation. Doesn't happen often in my transactional work, but I do get contacted once in a while by people that think, A, I may be hungry for work, or that I may not be bright enough to see through their actions. But just know what you're getting into, make sure it's within your scope of comfort and your level of expertise. And number one, I hear this over and over again from attorneys, trust your intuition, trust your gut reaction, at least listen to it. And be aware that many times those of us that have had problem clients, when we look back, we're thinking, I knew this at the interview, I knew this at the beginning, or I knew this early on. So trust yourself. And last, the way you handle this is by having an exit strategy already in mind. Number one, again, it comes with age, but you can easily say, I'm really sorry, I don't have any expertise with this, I think that you would be better served someplace else. Or I have a full load right now, I have a trial coming up, or I've got enough other matters. So be aware that you need to have an exit strategy, and refer them to other attorneys, not just one, but refer them on out. If you have any questions, please contact ISBA. They have several wonderful tools here to help you as you move along. Thank you.